It is week 11 in the NFL season, and we are in Atlanta, Georgia to take on the Falcons, who are 3-6 on the season. As last week, Josh Jacobs put up 103 yards and a touchdown, as the Raiders improved to 5-4 on the season with a big win over the division rival of the Falcons, the New Orleans Saints. Deshaun might have thrown 2 picks, but the running game was on point as Josh Moss got 2 touchdowns on the ground, pounding it in probably from the goal line, as Kalen Shanny also caught a touchdown in that game. But it is a big week as we can really solidify some big time momentum, as we could be moving to 6-4 on the season and in position to potentially compete for a division title with the Chiefs. And honestly, every team in the division, because every team in the division as of right now has at least a 500 record, so it's not going to be easy in this division. Let's reshift our focus to today, and today we take on Bijan Robinson, one of the best running backs in the league already in his young career. It's going to be a potentially great rushing threat, as the Raiders are one of the top rushing teams in all of the NFL, and so are the Falcons. So we're going to see Ridder and the Falcons versus Deshaun and the Raiders up next. Falcons will be receiving the football first as Desmond Ridder comes out on the field, and the Falcons have struggled this year as a team, only 3 wins on the season, and Desmond Ridder has not had a particularly great year, but they're really trying to rely on that ground game, as Kyle Pitts will start in the backfield along with Bijan Robinson, who takes the first carry of the game. And Bijan Robinson with the lane, and Robinson gets 16 yards on the first play. Staying in pistol now as they go back to the left side with Robinson, and Bijan gets 9 now. And back-to-back runs right out of the pistol. It's now tight end in motion. They go to a little wham play up the middle, and Robinson first down. 3 straight carries for Bijan, as now Ridder drops to throw quick outside, and there is Kyle Pitts. When they get him the ball, he is so good. 2nd and inches. Bijan will get it, no play action, throwing over the middle, and he had 2 guys in the area, but he missed them both. Not a bad time to take a shot on 2nd and inches, but on 3rd and inches, underneath to Kyle Pitts. Hobbs brings him down. Now Ridder first down, making a change at the line. He goes to a pass, and it's a quick throw outside, and it's caught for a gain of 7. Now handoff, Bijan Robinson cuts it to the outside, and Robinson breaking a tackle or 2. And Robinson, it takes 2 men to bring him down, and the Falcons are already in the red zone now. Stretch left, Bijan gets a block from the tight end, and Bijan Robinson, touchdown, Falcons. And Bijan does exactly what he is supposed to do, and he carries his offense for a touchdown. An early deficit for our Raiders as Thomas Deshaun will come out onto the field. And leading this Raiders offense, Deshaun on the year has had his ups and downs, but I think his performance is better than the numbers indicated. He's really helped us out a lot and given us a level of explosiveness that this offense has not seen in a long time. And Josh Jacobs, who is also one of the best running backs in the league, takes the first carry of the game. Deshaun now will try to go read option, and he loses 2, and it's going to be 3rd and 7 now. Deshaun to the air, and he's going to look for Mayer on the wheel route. He found the hole in the zone, but the safety comes over and knocks it away, as it's going to be Falcon football as Bijan Robinson. The defense didn't really get a whole lot of time to recover after that long drive for Bijan Robinson, who breaks it up the middle, and Bijan Robinson is gone. Touchdown, Falcons. We are getting some flashbacks to last year when this team allowed Aaron Jones to run for over 200 and allowed all these running backs to run up and down this team. We cannot let Bijan do that. The Falcons are playing with a 14-point lead, just how they want to play, as Deshaun play action will throw to Michael Mayer, and they'll set up 3rd and 5. We cannot afford to go 3 and out back-to-back times. Deshaun will go outside, has Jacoby Myers, and we needed that badly. We need to put some points up on the board, and fast. We cannot get in trouble in the first quarter. We go Josh Jacobs, who's got a lot of room, and Josh Jacobs will get it to the 37-yard line, and Jacobs helping this ground attack, and he gets the carry once again, and Josh Jacobs, both running backs running it well early on. We just need to get him the ball a bit more. Deshaun to throw, and he'll roll left, and Thomas Deshaun's got a lot of room, and Thomas Deshaun, touchdown, Raiders. And Deshaun He had a man in the end zone. He could have thrown it, but he trusted his legs, and I can't say I disagree because he walks in untouched, and the Raiders get a huge touchdown. They needed that to stay in this. You do not want to give the Falcons a 2-score lead and let them just grind the clock out early on as they throw outside, and that is caught. First down, good throw from Ritter. Now handing it off. Bijan gets stuffed in the backfield, and that's a good play. 2nd and 13, now putting him behind the sticks is Ritter, forcing him to make a play, and Desmond Ritter just throws it out of bounds. It's going to be 3rd down and 13. Ritter to the air. It's going to be a screen, and he just throws it off the lineman. And that's what you got to do. You got to force Desmond Ritter to make a play as Jaden Sharew on a bubble screen, and no one is on the field to tackle Jaden Sharew. He's running free, and Jaden Sharew, 90 yards. The defense committed all out to the run, and Sharew goes all the way, and now it's suddenly 14-14. And we might be in for like a shootout here as 28 points put up in the first quarter. Second quarter is underway, and now the Falcons are throwing and getting a first down to the 43-yard line. Shotgun formation now. Ritter, quick pass. Kyle Pitts, they're getting him involved. You've seen what this team struggled to do in Jacksonville, allowing Evan Ingram to get 19 catches. I think even though this team doesn't like to throw the ball and throw it to Kyle Pitts a whole lot, you have to look at the mismatch that he presents, and there he is, Kyle Pitts. We have had such a problem covering tight ends all year, and Kyle Pitts is probably the matchup nightmare as Bijan Robinson, speaking of a nightmare, he is a nightmare to stop as he gets it to the 1-yard line on a big run. Goal line package now, and the Falcons get a false start. That is a costly one as they could have tried to punch that in. Now they'll be back up at the 5 or 6 yard line. They'll stay in the goal line package as Bijan gets the toss, and Robinson falls forward, but he gets barely back to the line of scrimmage as now they hand it right back to Robinson, who gets brought down. Tyree Wilson came off the edge. Now it's 3rd down, and Ritter goes to the air. He throws quick, and it's just dropped off the hands of the receiver. And the Falcons, Bijan took him to the 1, and they couldn't score. The Raiders catch a break. Offense on the field now as we go Josh Jacobs, who tries to cut it outside, and Jacobs gets taken down. It'll be a gain of 2 as Deshaun will throw quick, and that's just behind Sharew, who could not even make a play on that football. It's going to be 3rd down and 8. Deshaun will roll, and he's got nowhere to go, and he's just going to throw it away, basically. That's a bad 3 and out, and the Falcons get good field position as Ritter will throw one up top, and it's caught, and he's beating Marcus Peters over the top, and that is KJ Hamler, the former Bronco, beating Peters up top, and that is a bad play from Marcus Peters as they go back to KJ Hamler, and it's going to be 2nd and 4. Ritter, quick pass, that's Kyle Pitts, and he gets brought down. Maxx Crosby had to chase him out there. 3rd and inches, they go toss Bijan Robinson, and Maxx Crosby makes the big play to stop him, and a shocking call with Bijan Robinson. They're going to kick the field goal to go up by 6, and if I have Bijan Robinson in my backfield, I am going for it every time, but the Falcons playing it conservative. Jacobs will take a big first down carry to the 36-yard line as they go back to Jacobs, who gets only 2 this time as now pistol formation, read option. Deshaun trying to get outside, and he's not been able to run a whole lot today. He's got that 1 touchdown run, but the design runs have not been in his favor as Jacoby Myers seemed a little scared to catch that football. It's going to be a punt. And Bijan Robinson, who's been, ripping apart this defense in the first half, but we've played better in the second quarter against him as Ritter play action, and he's going to try to check it to Kyle Pitts, but that is great coverage, and it'll be 3rd and 11. Divine Diablo with the deflection, and with the drop to throw, they go Kyle Pitts' way, but it's going to be short of the marker, and Devin Bush makes the tackle. Play action to Deshaun as he looks to throw, and that was a no-look shovel pass from Deshaun. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. It doesn't get us any yards, but Deshaun busting out innovative new ways to get the football to his pass catchers. Gets a first down there. It's a little bit more conventional and effective as Deshaun will roll right, and he's got nowhere to go with the football. He tries to get it on the run, and that was almost a completed pass. He can get a little bit more on that. Deshaun now will try to run, and he's sacked by Grady Jarrett. 3rd and 13. Looking to throw is Deshaun, and he goes outside for Shanny, and it's incomplete. That was A.J. Terrell in coverage. and with 40 seconds to go, we punt the football away. Falcons take it to half, and it is a struggle for the defense as we have allowed over 300 yards of offense. And while I think we've played decent on offense on our side of things, we have to come up with a better strategy to stop this Falcons team, as Bijan Robinson has well over 100 yards in the first half and has had multiple big runs. We need to come up with a better plan in the second half, and we're going to see what Todd Bowles and the defense can do, because this is not going to fly. We cannot let Bijan have a record-breaking day on us. We've already allowed too many historical performances on this defense, but we'll see what we could do in the second half. The second half is here, and we made a lot of adjustments going into the second half on defense. Todd Bowles really had a conversation with the defensive squad to really just lock in and try and just focus on stopping Bijan Robinson, make Desmond Ridder make plays, because we do not trust Desmond Ridder to make plays. So in the first couple plays of the game, we are moving the football as Jaden Sherrill takes the pop pass, and Sherrill breaks the tackle. Nice spin move from him as Sherrill gets 4 yards, setting up 2nd and 6. We go handoff Josh Jacobs, who gets a nice little lane, gets a one-on-one, falls forward, and gets to the 43-yard line. Shotgun now as we go Jacobs, as we really want to hold on to the ball a little bit too. Still a one-score game. We can't afford to establish this run game and take our time, as Deshaun will hand it once again to Jacobs, and Jacobs will set up 3rd and 1. Now what do we got here? Passing, throwing to Jacoby Myers. It's a backwards pass. That will count as another run play for this Raider offense, as now we throw screen left. Sherrill gets a block from Jacoby Myers, and it will give him a first down. Deshaun now will get sacked on the next play. That's James Houston off the edge, the former Lion. And it's going to be 2nd and 17, and that might have derailed the drive. But we get it to Shanny, who gets us 7 yards, setting us back up at the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10, Deshaun to the air. And he'll go over the middle, and that's a great play by the defense to swat that one away. We get a field goal out of that drive, and a 6-minute drive nets us 3, and it will put us down by 3 as Bijan Robinson on the first play of the drive. And he gets 16 yards, he fumbles, and the Raiders pick it up. But you do not hear the excitement in my voice, because obviously that fumble was very late. They let it play out, but we're going to see this, and it's clearly not a fumble. Falcons get to keep the football as pistol formation now. They go handoff Bijan, and there we go. Devin Bush gets in there, and Moerig finishes him off. It's going to be no gain. It's now free play, and Maxx Crosby gets the sack, but a free play. Tyree Wilson jumped off sides, and that is unfortunate as Maxx Crosby gets robbed of a sack. It's going to be 2nd and 5, and he'll throw outside, and that's just missed timing. 3rd and 5 now, as we have Maxx Crosby flying off the edge. You stole a sack from him earlier, but you're not stealing this one. Maxx Crosby ends the drive, and it's going to be Raider football, and a nice job from our defense, as Kalen Shanny will take the punt return, fielding it at his own 20. He's going to go wide right, and Shanny outrunning defenders, but he's going to fumble! And Shanny, a rare mistake from him, puts it on the ground, and the Falcons take over. Now play action, and Tyree Wilson, he forces a fumble right back, and we got the football! Tyree Wilson with a strip sack fumble, and Divine Diablo picks it up, and we'll just scratch that fumble from Shanny's record books. It didn't matter. Defense gets it right back, and Josh Jacobs gets a yard. And Deshaun will throw now, and he's got nowhere to really go with the football, but he just heaves one, and Jacoby Myers! Deshaun just put it up there, gave his receiver a chance, and Jacoby Myers was right in the right spot. Jacobs loses a yard on that carry, but now we go with Deshaun out of the pistol, throwing the football, swings to Jacobs, stiff arm, and Josh Jacobs turns a couple of yards into 3rd and inches. And Deshaun now will take it himself, and he reaches for it, but he doesn't get it. It's going to be 4th down. Josh Moss is in the game at fullback. We go with him, and Moss gets stopped. And that's going to be Falcon football. We trusted our team to get a yard. Unfortunately, that did not happen as we miss out on a chance to tie the game. We go for it on 4th down, don't get it, but Maxx Crosby's got our back as he gets a sack. 2nd and 18 as Crosby now is firing things up in the second half for this defense. who's played a lot better in the second half, has not allowed any points now as we are into the fourth quarter now. And Ritter, screen, will throw it to Bijan Robinson, and they don't get it. It's going to be Raider football once again. Now read option. Deshaung's got a lot of room to run, and Thomas Deshaung will spin, and Deshaung will get himself a good amount of yards, and we're nearing midfield. Quick throw. Kalen Shanny on the bubble, and getting Shanny in space is never a bad idea. 2nd and 1. Now play action. Deshaung looking for a shot play, and he takes the shot to Michael Mayer, and he's got it! First down and a whole lot more yards to the 23-yard line. And a great risk from Deshaung as he takes the read option, but he fumbles it, and the Falcons pick it up. Come on, team. That's the second time in scoring position we can't cash in, as Desmond Ritter now on the read option, and Ritter is down. And Ritter, I can tell you, he's not coming back as he heads to the locker room. And now it's Parsons, the rookie backup quarterback for the Falcons, who's going to take over. And Parsons on his first throw will fire one, and that's a nice pass, but it's not going to be enough for the first down. Falcons turn it back to the Raiders. We now go Deshaung. We give him a carry right back, but he does not get anything. He lost 2 yards. Deshaung to the air now, and he just gets hit as he's thrown, and Michael Mayer was the intended receiver. Josh Jacobs will line up now in motion on the slot, and Deshaung with a clean pocket will fire one deep for Cheru, and he missed it. Cheru had a couple of steps. Fortunately, we turn it right back to the Falcons, who throw a tight window pass, and there's Nate Hobbs with a great play as they go underneath, and a miscommunication as 2 guys were in the area. It's 3rd and 10 now as Parsons to throw. Ioannidis applying pressure, and Parsons missed one over the top. Raider football. Now play action Deshaung as he throws for Josh Jacobs, but he gets lit up and he can't hang on. Deshaung read option now, and Deshaung will outrun A.J. Terrell and cut to the outside, and Thomas Deshaung gets out of bounds at about midfield. And that's a great play from Deshaung, showing that elite speed. Josh Jacobs takes the carry. He gets 6. And it's going to be 2nd and 4. Time is running out, though, as Deshaung will fire a shot to Shanny, and it's incomplete. And that was McKnight, the rookie safety, coming over to make the play. Jacobs will take the handoff, and Josh Jacobs, he's got himself 14 yards on a first down. And can we hold on to the football this time around as we are in scoring position once again? Terrell brings down Shanny after a quick 4-yard completion. And now read option once again. We're trusting Deshaung with the ball in his hands. He just dives ahead, close to the first down. Jacobs will have it, and it's going to be a red zone possession as we got Jacobs on the edge, and he could not make A.J. Terrell miss. It's going to be 2nd and 7. Clock is running out. We are going to try to make this the final shot as Deshaung has the speed. Thomas Deshaung, touchdown! And he showed elite speed right there once again. He outran him all the way up the sidelines. And the Raiders are on top, and it's down to the rookie quarterback Parsons with 2 minutes to go to make a drive to win this game. He needs a touchdown as Parsons to throw will go outside, and he missed Kyle Pitts, 3rd and inches. Raiders defense trying to come up with a big play, and that's going to be Kyle Pitts with the big play instead. And play action now. Parsons will throw to Pitts again, and he's just trying to find Pitts anywhere he can. He missed it there as Parsons will throw out of the backfield. Bijan Robinson got out of bounds, saved some clock. There's still a minute to go, and the Falcons have all their timeouts as they go quick to Kyle Pitts once again. And with all those timeouts, they will not burn one. Not yet, at least, as Parsons has all the time in the world to throw one down the field, and it's swatted away and almost into the hands of KJ Hamler. And the Raiders have to take an injury timeout as Parsons to throw. Who else but Kyle Pitts being the intended receiver? He can't hang on. It's 3rd and 10, 40 seconds to play. Parsons, incomplete. It's 4th down. Can we have the big stop as Parsons throws it down the field, and it's caught, and it's going to be a touchdown. Josh Reynolds. You got to be kidding me. Devin Bush got caught on the outside, matched up against Josh Reynolds, and he just didn't see the ball coming as he got turned around. We'll see this, and Devin Bush might have just costed the Raiders a football game. Where are you going? Raiders have very little time and all their timeouts to try to get into field goal range, make this an overtime game. Deshaun to throw, and he's using up a lot of time, but taking a shot from Myers, and it's just barely swatted away. 23 seconds. Deshaun will roll, and Deshaun will try and just throw. Nowhere to go with the football. That's 6 more seconds off the clock. Deshaun now to throw again, and he's gonna go up top for Shanny, and it's incomplete. 10 seconds to play, and Deshaun now with spreading the field, and he's got Josh Jacobs out of the backfield who lined up out wide, and it's gonna be 6 seconds to play. I don't know if he's got a Hail Mary level arm for this. Deshaun though will throw, and it's picked off, and that's gonna be the game. He throws a pick on the final play, and the Falcons stun the Raiders in a heartbreaking game where Josh Reynolds on 4th and 10 catches a 40-yard touchdown, and Devin Bush, he's just got to be a frustrating player to deal with right now as Raiders fall to 5-5 on the season, and this was a really big opportunity. I thought the defense played really well in the second half. Aside from that last touchdown, they hadn't allowed the Falcons to score at all. Desmond Ridder got knocked out of the game. Parsons came in, didn't really do a whole lot, but he just made the one throw he needed to make, and that's just going to be an unfortunate loss. As we're going to move on as we have some more positive news maybe in the college football update coming up right now. This is your college football update for week 7 and 8 of the college football season, and we had a couple of big time upsets in the world of college football, and let's get right into that as week 7 went down, and we had potentially the most shocking upset of the week was Ohio State went down, and I know Ohio State was only number 11, but they go down to Northern Illinois. The 6-1 Huskies of the MAC Conference take down Ohio State, and we talked about these two teams last year. They faced off last year where Jared Larson had a big time showing in that game. Northern Illinois was able to look respectable but not win the game. This year though, we will be talking about another one of their players, a player who helped them win this game, and the fact that they are the number 14 team in the country. Now, I don't know if Northern Illinois is really going to be making a run to the national championship or anything, but to be, in the same conversation as Ohio State, LSU, and all these other teams, it's a pretty big accomplishment for this team, and we'll see if the Huskies can get any higher in the polls. That wasn't the only upset of week 7, though, as we had another massive one as Georgia goes down to unranked Tennessee. Tennessee was just about a 500 team, and really was nowhere near in position to win this game. I mean, they came in as like 20-point underdogs, but Georgia just made too many mistakes, turned the ball over too many times, and Tennessee was able to steal one at home over the Bulldogs, who fall now to number 6 in the nation, and potentially, they are now in trouble when it comes to the SEC title, as Alabama look like the favorites now. And we will get to week 8, where Texas and Texas A&M went to battle, and Texas A&M falls out of the top 15 with a loss to Texas, who jumps to number 10. And the third and final upset of these 2 weeks was Miami going down. Number 7 Miami goes down to North Carolina. North Carolina not as strong as they were last year, but still able to pull out a big win over the Hurricanes, who now fall to 11 in the country. Minnesota climbing, LSU climbing a little bit, and we see now the new top 4 sees Penn State jump into that 4th spot. As we look ahead to the next 2 weeks and what that'll look like, week 9 sees Missouri taking on Alabama, LSU taking on Florida, and the biggest matchup of the next 2 weeks is in week 10, where Minnesota will take on Penn State. And we also have USC versus Washington, and USC is always a highlight game when you have Raleigh Cordula and Lance Bowen as the connection. But now let's get into some of these players for this week. Let's talk about a running back who last week shot his draft stock from a potentially late day 2, maybe early day 3 guy, all the way up to a potential second round pick. And I think he is a solidified second round pick. I don't think he'll go in the first round, but I think early to mid second round is where he will go. And that is running back Xavier Calhoun of Northern Illinois. And I think this is a very good comparison for him. I have DeMarco Murray. Remember what DeMarco Murray did in Dallas? Was a guy who just ran through so many tackles, such a high volume of yards per carry, but he didn't have the longest career. He was one of those running backs who, for a 5-year stretch, he was really good, and he fell off a cliff a little bit. I think that you might be looking at a similar thing with Xavier Calhoun. Again, it's a maybe, because when it comes to running backs, you never know when the running back's going to fall off the cliff. You never know when injuries are going to hit. You never know how certain people are going to handle the physicality of the NFL. But if I had to project, I think Xavier Calhoun is looking a lot like how DeMarco Murray could look in his NFL career. Now, when we look at Calhoun the player, I mean, he's 6 feet, 204 pounds, and he is so good at breaking tackles. And a knock on him was, well, like Jared Larson last year, he's facing the MAC. He's not facing the best tacklers. Well, against Ohio State, one of the best teams in the nation, that didn't really seem to matter because Calhoun ran for over 200 yards on 32 carries against Ohio State and also put the ball in the end zone one time. It didn't matter who he was playing up against, and he seemed to play his best football against the best competition, so he rises to the occasion. He has good vision, he hits the hole very nicely. On top of that, he can catch too. I mean, he's not an amazing pass catcher, but when he has been called to, have some of these, pass catching opportunities, not just screens. I'm talking about like coming out of the backfield, running a Texas route, running a wheel route, running a swing or something. He'll do it effectively, and he will catch the football. He does not drop the ball very often. Now, with the knocks on him, I think just purely as a player, his biggest knock is the fact that he doesn't have this long breakaway speed. When he gets out into the open, he gets running down the field, he's probably going to get tracked down. I mean, he's not going to break free and outrun everyone to the end zone, but I don't think it really matters for a guy who is this productive and this efficient. I mean, he still averages a high amount of yards per carry, ran for over 1,600 yards last year, and he's on track to do better than that this year. And again, small competition, so the numbers are going to look a little inflated, but I don't think it really matters when it comes to him. He's going to be a really nice starting running back in the NFL, and the only question is, can he handle the physicality that the NFL is going to bring him over the course of his career? I hope so, because Calhoun is going to be a great player to watch. We have shown a lot of love to the USC offense, and that is because they have one of the best QB wide receiver duos to ever grace college football, it seems like. But how about we show a little bit of love to the defensive side of the football for USC and their leader, Sean Percival. And I think his biggest strength also could be his biggest weakness to some, and that is he's a jack of all trades, master of none type edge rusher. And now I'd put it as a minor strength and a minor weakness because it depends on how you really view it. Some view jack of all trades as a great thing, and some is like, well, he doesn't excel at anything in particular. Some like specialists, some like guys who can do a little bit of everything. I think for me, I think that that's a great thing, that you can pass rush a little, you can run stuff a little, you can do a little bit of everything. I think it's a really nice key to have on your defense. And for Sean Percival, I think Clay Matthews is a good comparison for him. He is effective in pass rush and run defense, and he's able to bat down passes at the line, which is a very nice thing for an edge rusher when, you have teams running these screen routes, these bubbles, these swings. To have Percival, number of times he has jumped up and swatted those passes down. He did it 6 times last year, and he's doing it about the same rate this year, and it's a really nice thing to have when on first down, instead of getting a screen pass for 4 or 5 yards and being ahead of the sticks, boom, swatted down, and now you're at 2nd and 10. He's done that a number of times, and it's a nice thing to have on your defense. Now, I think he does not possess elite upside. I don't think he's ever going to be, this top of the league type pass rusher, but I think he can make a couple of Pro Bowls, and he could really have a nice long career. I think that is something with Percival, that he does possess the ability to have a long career, because he has so many skills that even if something else deteriorates, he's going to have another bunch of skills to fall back on. I mean, he had 10 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. He could poke the ball out if he has to. He's done a lot of different things, and he's played a lot of different roles. He played on either side. I mean, he can do a bit of everything, and he's played in different schemes too, because USC's defense was poor, and USC lacked a quarterback, and USC had to make some changes. He's played as a 3-4 or a 4-3 end, and he's also played a little bit in the interior if he has to at 280 pounds. I mean, it's not the ideal weight for a guy on the inside, but he can do it, and it's a great player to have on your defense if you need that versatility. You run a hybrid scheme. I think Percival is going to be a nice piece for a defense. I mean, maybe not the star player, but definitely a key contributor. Now, how about, to end things off, we stay in the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 is obviously just the best conference in college football right now, and it has been for the past 2 years. We go to UCLA, and we go to Ellis Travis III. We already talked about a UCLA player not too long ago when we talked about Angelo Hayden, but on the defensive side of the ball, they have a guy who is just as special at cornerback, and Patrick Peterson. I do not make that comparison lightly. Comparisons, aren't the full picture, but they can tell you a little bit about who you might be getting. And Travis is a guy who is a playmaker on the football. I think that is something that is really, really missing from a lot of teams in the NFL, and it's really hard to do because some people might attribute it, that's a luck, you caught a tip pick and you ran it back. But when you do it for a number of times and you do it at a rate where it becomes no longer a fluke or luck, he's just making plays, and he has 4 touchdowns in his career on defense, and that is just in his first 3 years. He's already got one this year that I haven't put down, and he's just making so many plays, even when he's not scoring a touchdown. Whenever he gets the football in his hands on an interception, he's a threat to take it back anytime he touches that football. So much so that they even played him at punt returner, like Patrick Peterson did early in his career in Arizona. He's a pretty good punt returner. Travis, he's a pretty good punt returner too. But that's just their athleticism and their playmaking ability. What about his coverage? Well, he's a great man-to-man expert. I mean, he isn't a guy who you are going to want to play in like a Fangio defense. You're not going to want to put him playing shell coverage, playing, bend but don't break, playing back there. You could, but that's just not utilizing his talents to his fullest extent. You want to put him in a defense that's going to allow him to play his game, play man-to-man, make plays on the football. And for a defense that we are trying to transition to, we don't want to play this bend but don't break defense here in Las Vegas. We want to let our guys play man-to-man. Depending on how the season goes here, as we sit at 5-5, I don't know if we're going to be in position to draft him, because I think Travis is a certifiable, not only top 10, but top 5 player in this class. So, I mean, at 5 wins already, you'd like to imagine we're going to get at least another 1 or 2 wins at the very least. So I don't think we're going to be in position to draft Ellis Travis, unfortunately. But man, would he be a perfect player to just slide in for Marcus Peters. And I don't really see many weaknesses in his game. I mean, I literally have a third weakness is just none. And if I had to say as a player, I mean, he can not be physical enough at times. He, at 6 foot 212, he's not a bad size, but sometimes he'll get a little rocked by these taller receivers. You may not want to match him up against T. Higgins or something, but I mean, he can hold his own, and that's even still just stretching it. I mean, I don't think he's just not a physical player. He's just maybe not great at it. But when you look at his strengths and you see elite athlete, elite playmaker, man-to-man expert, I mean, it's hard to find a knock or a negative on him, and I think it'll only be a matter of time before he is one of the best corners in this league. I don't think it's going to be a stretch to say he's going to be a top 10 corner in the NFL one day. Just a matter of, can it be day one? Can he be like a Sauce Gardner who can come in day one and do his thing and be an all-pro level player? Or will it take some time? I'm more inclined to believe he'll do it sooner rather than later. But that will do it for this episode, as in the next video, we will be simulating our second game against the Denver Broncos, and we will be taking on number 1 overall pick Trey Dutch and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. And it will be fun to see the number 1 overall pick at edge rusher face off against the number 3 overall pick at quarterback, and we'll see if Deshaun has an answer for the Buccaneers' improving defense, and it'll be a bit of a Todd Bowles revenge game as the Buccaneers let him go, and he is happily our defensive coordinator. Tough loss this week, heartbreaker, but we will look to get back on track against the Buccaneers, and I will see you all in the next episode.